How's it going, guys, and welcome to Dan and Bryn Start a Gym. Today, real quick, I wanted to go over some simple things you can do at home in order to continue your exercise progress. I like to do this personally. Bryn and I do carry or have suspension straps that go directly into our living room here. A lot of people put them in a spare bedroom. I know that's what my brother does. I typically recommend having some level of suspension trainer in your home if you're one of my online training people, specifically if you're not able to make it to a gym. So I've got a few people who train with us online, and they just cannot seem to make it to a gym, which is absolutely fine. You should be able to do lots of exercises at your home. When it comes to exercise, being creative ends up being the goal. Now, proper movement and mechanics is always important. That trumps just about everything, including speed at which the exercise is accomplished. It doesn't matter how many crunches you do. It'd be better to do one perfect crunch than millions of really crappy ones. And so, not that we're a big fan of, crunches. I like crunches. Sit-ups, not so much. Sit-ups pretty much suck. They're really bad for your back. Don't do sit-ups. But we see a lot of people in our gym wanting to do lots and lots of core work to somehow supersede the crappy diet that they're on. And it's just not effective. If you're not eating clean, if you're not doing a good diet to get rid of body fat, then it doesn't matter how many sit-ups or crunches you do. You're never going to see your six-pack. Now, that being said, these are suspension trainers that I personally made. I think the total cost for everything was a little under $30. I spent about 15 bucks on the motorcycle tie-down straps. It came in a pack of 4. We just used 2. I bought these particular handles here on them. I got these at Fred Meyer, actually. These were about $10.99, I think. And the ceiling anchors, which I'll be showing you here in just a bit. But what's really nice about these particular ones is that they're independent, different than, say, like I said, a TRX bands or some of the other commercial suspension trainers that have a centralized anchor point. I like having the fact that they're separated. It helps with better proper mechanics and movement. And so as I zoom in and as I zoom out. But I can use these for not just push-ups. I can use them for doing rows, chin-ups when we move them all the way up to the ceiling. There's a lot of different various exercises. And really what I end up finding that I use them the most with is just stretching. And so I do a lot of pec, shoulder stretches. I tend to be really tight throughout my shoulders and my pecs. But we do have them in our living room. Some people put them in a spare bedroom. I have mixed feelings on that personally. I do find that if you put them in a spare bedroom, you're less likely to use them. It takes a little bit more effort. Now that doesn't bother some people. For me, I find if I just put them right in the living room, then it's not going to be an issue. And seeing as how my wife owns the gym with us, it's not much of an issue for her as well. She likes to use them. She actually ties her hammock from the anchor points in the ceiling. She's got a yoga hammock that she uses in here for that. One feature that I do love about them is, my niece and nephew, they love them. And so when they come over, we hang them up and they can swing on them and do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. They typically jump off the love seat that's behind me. If you can see, we got a love seat back there. We'll raise them up a bit and then put a bar on here across from the two, and they'll swing back and forth. And so, which is a lot of fun. Our neighbors below us don't really like that or care for that too much. But that's one of the things we do to make sure I'm not only stretching, but I'm also getting a few extra movement quality stuff in there. You can make them as intense or as you can make them as hard or as easy as you would like. It's really kind of up to you. So let's take a look at the anchor points as I try to zoom in here. So what I did is I found a stud. It's really important that you use a stud when you're anchoring those in there. But this, I use a U-bolt instead of just an I-bolt. Now, if you try to use, I'm getting them off frame. There we go. If you try to use just and we'll just zoom in on one. We'll go to the guy right there. If you try to use just an I-bolt, the problem with just an I-bolt is that as you lean one direction or another on it, it doesn't tend to want, it'll widen up the stud that it's screwed into. So if you use a U-bolt, and you can see how it's got that 2 bolts on each side and that big U shape right there. Let's see if I can keep it in frame. There we go. So then if I move the strap itself, that particular hanging portion actually bends and moves with it. So you're only getting shear load straight down from those bolts that are screwed into the stud and not torque on the bolt itself. So those are the kind of bolts that I used. Now in our gym we use those, but we use the much bigger bolts for that specifically. And so that is one of the things that I think really, and if we could do anything, I would love to have that particular feature, straps in every person's gym across America, although I think the TV is usually the thing that'll be there. But someday, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So thanks for watching. Again, this is Dan and Bryn Start a Gym. Please subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to email us at info@templefitness.com.